Next is stress. Not surprisingly, the amount of stress present in a job is related to employee satisfaction and commitment. Stresses range from environmental ones, noise, heat, inadequate ventilation, to interpersonal ones, that is, organizational politics, conflicts with co-workers, to organizational ones, pressure to avoid making mistakes, worrying about the security of the job. Some jobs, such as intensive care unit, nurse, and military fighter pilot, are inherently very stressful. Another source of stress has to do with the roles people are expected to fulfill on of the job. Role ambiguity is uncertainty about what our responsibility are in job. Role conflict involves contradictory demands at work. It can also involve conflict between fulfilling one's role as an employee and other roles in life, such as the role of parent, friend, or community volunteer. Generally speaking, the higher the stress level, the lower job satisfaction tends to be. But not all stress is bad, and some stresses actually make us happier. For example, working under time pressure and having a high degree of responsibility are stressful, but they are also perceived as challenges and tend to be related to high levels of satisfaction. Assessing work attitudes in workplace. Given that work attitudes may give us clues about who will leave or stay, who will perform better, and who will be more engaged, tracking satisfaction and commitment levels is a helpful step for companies. If there are company-wide issues that make employees unhappy and disengaged, these need to be resolved. There are at least two systematic ways in which companies can track work attitudes: through attitude surveys and exit interviews. Companies such as KFC and Long John Silver Restaurants, the SAS Institute, Google, and other give periodic attitude surveys which are used to track employee work attitudes. Companies can get more out of these surveys if responses are held confidential. If employees become concerned that their individual responses will be shared with their immediate manager, they are less likely to respond honestly. Moreover, success of these honest surveys depends on the credibility of management periodically collecting these surveys, but no action comes out of them. Employees may adopt a more cynical attitude and start ignoring these surveys, hampering the success of future efforts. Exit interviews involve a meeting with the departing employee. This meeting is often conducted by a member of the Human Resource Management Department. If conducted well, this meeting may reveal what mistakes or what makes employees dissatisfied at work and give management clues about areas of improvement. How strong is the attitude behavior link? First of all, it depends on the attitude in question. Your attitudes towards your colleagues may influence whether you actually help them on a project, but they may not be a good predictor of whether you quit your job. Second, it is worth noting that attitudes are more strongly related to intentions to behave in a certain way rather than actual behaviors. When you are dissatisfied with your job, you will have the intention to leave. Whether you actually leave will be a different story. Your leaving will depend on many factors such as availability of alternative jobs in the market, your employability in a different company, and sacrifices you have to make while changing jobs. Thus, while the attitudes assessed through employee satisfaction surveys and exit interviews can provide some basis for predicting how a person might behave in a job, remember that behavior is also strongly influenced by situational constraints. So, the key takeaways of work attitudes are the feelings we have towards different aspects of the work environment. Job satisfaction and organizational commitment are two key attitudes that are most relevant to important outcomes. In addition to personality and fit with the organization, work attitudes are influenced by the characteristics of the job, perceptions of organizational justice, and the psychological contract, relationship, and with the co-workers and managers and the stress levels experienced on the job. Many companies assess employee attitudes through surveys of workers satisfaction and through exit interviews. The usefulness of such information is limited. However, because attitudes create an intention to behave in a certain way, but they do not always predict actual behaviors. Next, what we are going to see is the factors that influence a person's work behavior, all of which cannot be covered in this session, but we will try to cover the maximum. Behavior abroad can be influenced by factors both inside and outside of the work environment, even if the management style, communication techniques. So, what is the management style of the work behavior? If your boss yells at her employees, especially in front of other employees, and it seems like nothing is ever done up to her expectations, productivity will decline. A simple word of encouragement or taking 5 minutes to go over expectations will make an employee feel like he is not just another face in the crowd, but a valued member of a company team. That feeling of value will make the employee work harder and care about the result instead of just rushing through a project to check it off his list. Personal factors. A person's life does not stop and start at the office front door. Sometimes there are things at home that an employee is dealing with that weigh heavily on a mind. Big events such as upcoming nuptials, a death in a family, or even something small like a fight with their spouse can affect an employee's work behavior. Everyone has a bad day or two, but if the employee can't seem to snap out of her new attitude, talk to her about the change in behavior. Just knowing someone noticed could snap her out. So, next factor that can influence a work behavior is communication. So, communication is the foundation of any well-run businesses. Think of a company as a machine, and each spoke has to turn a wheel, and each wheel is interconnected. If one spoke doesn't receive the command to turn, the work gets jammed up. Don't rely on anything that involves multiple timelines for one project or multiple servers to store papers. Have one master timeline that everyone can refer to. Forward all emails to anyone involved on a project and be as transparent as possible to keep the wheels turning like a well-oiled machine. Jealousy is a difficult emotion to deal with because it is not always clear why or even whether it is taking place. However, when it does come, it is clear that one worker is jealous of the other. Managers must take steps to deal with the problem. To be effective, you must open the lines of communication with workers and foster solutions that both sides can accept. Jealousy is spotted in the office. It is time to meet individually with the people lobbying the accusations or complaints. Next, decide on whether or not it is a hindrance to their productivity and well-being. If necessary, make changes to workplace schedules or duties so the employees in question don't have to spend much time together, or rearrange the workplace so they are no longer near each other. Next, meet the employees, get both employees in a room together and try to hash out whatever is causing the jealousy. If needed, bring in a human resource representative, and it is important to get to the bottom of what is causing one employee to be jealous, such as favorable treatment to one over the other. Show the employee that if the other employee does receive favorable treatment, it might be due to the quality of his work. Remind the employee of what he can do to receive the same kind of treatment. Next is take disciplinary actions. Though it is a part of the factors, the solution also to be taken into consideration, and take disciplinary action is one action plan. Make it clear to the jealous employee that disciplinary action will be taken if his jealousy continues to affect productivity in the workplace. Explain to the second employee that he too will face disciplinary action if he reacts with hostility to his co-workers jealous. Tell them you will see them in your office in 2 weeks to 30 days to see if any change in their behavior has been made. Nip it in the bud. This is one of the best remedies. Employ meditative services in the workplace that co-workers can use to iron out issues with each other. Take a clear stance on jealousy. Create a training seminar that makes sure the employees know the signs to look for in jealous co-workers or when they become jealous themselves without realizing it.